What's going on, random viewer? Welcome back to a whole load of video game nerd news dump with your host, Big Mac. So today, or should I say last night, Microsoft Xbox walked into a dumpster fire of leaks and Twitter. Just going full trending #1, all the attention on everything, because the Xbox Series S has officially been announced, unveiled, revealed. We got prices, we got release dates, we got to look at the damn thing. The leak was huge, they blew a hole, and now the Titanic's gone. I can't help but sit here and look at you guys and tell you that this is all Microsoft's fault. Everybody knew that the Series S was a thing months and months and months ago, dude. I feel like we've been talking about the Series S, or at least been thinking about it for like, God, since fucking COVID, like since February. Like, I feel like this has been a rumor back then. Then we saw actual names and like stuff printed on packaging being shipped to stores, like SKUs and different prices showing up in other department store systems. Like, there was just a lot of info where we were like, we know this is real, we know that it's happening, why are you denying this and why aren't you showing us this? Because eventually it's gonna get to the point to where somebody finds it and releases it for you.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
So it wasn't like we just had a picture leaked to the thing. We had all the information leaked of it. I was up at like midnight and I was watching this whole Twitter thing go down, and then I even saw Xbox's reaction to it, which was fucking hilarious. So it looks like we have the entire new next generation Xbox suite laid out in front of us. We have the Xbox Series X at $500 launching November 10th, and the Xbox Series S at $300 also launching on November 10th. And they released all the specs for it, so we know everything. It's like 1440p, 120 frames per second. They're calling it like next generation performance, super fast load times, low latency, all these different things. So my opinion on the Series S, just in general, is I think it's actually fucking awesome. I think this is a great move on Microsoft's end. It's a great move on Xbox's end. I think that from a lot of people who have current Xboxes or even PlayStation fans or PC fans, like, they're gonna look at this, and when Halo comes out or when the Xbox really gets in on their exclusives, which I'll touch again in a second here, they're gonna look at this and be like, well, I could pay $500, half $1,000 for the most powerful version, the Series X, or I could pay $300, save myself $200, and I get to play all the same games. I'm just not playing it to its fullest potential. I'm not getting 4K 60 or 4K 120 or whatever the Series X will offer. So I actually think that as far as next generation goes, this is the easiest, most inclusive way to get somebody to jump into next generation. As you look at past before, it's like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One launched at $400 and $500. And then before that, the PS3 launched at $600. Like, people forget about how fucking expensive the PlayStation 3 was when the PS3 came out. I just think it's crazy that we're going into a next generation of Xbox and PlayStation, and you can get into this next generation for $300, half the price of what the PlayStation 3 was over a decade ago when that launched. So I actually think this is an awesome move, and I think that the Series S will be the most interesting console to keep up with over this generation's lifespan as far as numbers and inclusion, because Microsoft's real game plan with this is they want people to get an Xbox as easy as they can. They want an Xbox in every household, because that means that it gets everyone even a little bit closer to that Xbox Game Pass subscription. I have no problem with this business tactic. If you want to try and lure or get people into your system at a cheaper price, like this $300 starting point that's going to play all the next generation games super affordably, and then you just want people to pay that $9.99 subscription service to get that Game Pass every month, they're going the Netflix approach here. Video games are going subscription based. I really do think that's kind of like the future that we're seeing laid out in front of us. I also think at the same time saying that, video games have always kind of been their own beast. Like, they kind of live in their own plane of existence. And so I don't think that we'll ever see the day where like legit every video game ever is on a subscription service, whether that's PSN or Xbox Game Pass. Who knows? I think that we're definitely going to get more serious about that, but I don't think that gaming will ever fully go subscription based, especially with indie developers and other like third-party games. I really do think that we'll still see individual releases, but over time, those individual releases will become part of those subscription services. Now, this brings me all the way back to what I just said, the exclusives, Halo, the games. All of this is fine and dandy, dude. Like, all of this is great, right? Okay, you can get a next generation Xbox console for $300 on launch, but that's all great on paper. But what the fuck are you gonna play on it? Are you gonna play last generation ports? Are you gonna play what's ever been upscaled in Game Pass for 4K or for the Series X? Like Madden 21 just came out. That game's kind of a shit show, but like it's made for the Xbox One and for the Series X. So it's like, Xbox is literally launching 2 new next generation consoles with 0 games to draw you to any of these consoles. Like there's nothing bringing you to need to get an Xbox on launch. So unfortunately, that leads me to say, I don't think I'm getting any of these Xboxes on day one. I have no reason to. Eventually down the line, I'll definitely upgrade and I may get the Series S depending on once I kind of see it out in the wild and people start having their reviews out and I look and wait to see what the people say, maybe I'll get a Series S. Personally, I'm leaning towards the X because I have a 4K TV, I have 4K monitors, and so I would love to get the full 4K potential from the Series X, and I kind of like future-proofing because if I get the Series X, and that should be good for me for like at least 5 years or however long this generation is. But I have no reason to get an Xbox on launch, and I can't believe that I'm saying that. I remember day one on the Xbox One, I had Dead Rising 3, Forza Motorsport 5, and Rise Son of Rome. And those games looked amazing, and I actually ended up loving all 3 of those games, but those were some of the reasons why I was like, I have to get the Xbox on day one. That's how I'm gonna get the new Forza, that's how I'm gonna get the new Dead Rising, that's how I'm gonna play this new Roman Empire game that looks rad. There were so many games backed up on the Xbox One. Now the Series X or the S only had Halo Infinite going for it, and they stripped that away, thanks Craig. Now that I have a fully functional, somewhat working PC, which I am still going to unveil in a video soon here, trust me, we haven't even cracked this bad boy open yet. As of right now, it's like, why would I get the new Xbox when I literally have the Xbox app on my computer and any new Xbox game that comes out, I can just play? Like, what the fuck, Xbox? As of right now, I've always been kind of more Xbox. I've owned every system, so I've never really been like any fanboy of anything. I just love games in general. But this launch, this next gen launch, I'm getting a PS5 on day one. I wanna play Spider-Man Miles Morales. I wanna play the new Ratchet and Clank. I wanna play Horizon 2 when that comes out. Like, PlayStation showed up with the fucking exclusives, and we know that another God of War is coming. We know that there's probably gonna be more Last of Us content or maybe some more Uncharted content. There's just so much Sony exclusive stuff there that I need the PS5 on launch. I love those games and I want to continue playing them. But as of right now, I think the Series S announcement is awesome. I think it's fucking hilarious the way that it happened. And I think that the console looks and sounds fantastic on paper. But when you don't have the games there to back it up, how are you gonna expect anybody to fork over however amount of money? Even if the Series S was $200, it's like, that's awesome. Why would I upgrade if I have a One X? Or personally, I have an Xbox One S, so the one even down from that, and I still don't really see a reason for me to upgrade. I have a nice PC, I have the Xbox app, I have a One S, I don't need to upgrade anything, but I have my same PS4 that I've had since launch, and so now I'm ready for that PS5. And so, it just seems like Microsoft constantly puts themselves in a position where they're fighting against themselves. And Sony's just like, we got the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, and this makes 5. It's just so clear cut. Sony's always just been so clear with what they're doing, how they're doing it, and like what their intentions are. So yeah, that's it guys. I just wanted to tell you about, show you about, talk to you about, whine about the Xbox situation and the Series S. I just think this whole thing is super funny and interesting. So here we are. What are you guys gonna do? Are you getting a PS5 or an Xbox Series S or X on launch? Are you skipping the generation in total and you're just gonna be happy with your Switch in your pocket? Are you a PC all the way? Like, what do you think about all of this? Especially because this launch specifically has just been I almost want to say train wreck. I can't say train wreck yet because we haven't seen the outcome, but like the build up to this next generation has definitely been the most lackluster build up to any generation ever from my memory. I don't remember anything being this secretive and this just kind of like bland, because we had that huge PS5 event and then nothing. We had lackluster Xbox events and then this big like leak bomb. So I don't know, man. This next generation's definitely going to be one to keep your eye on. So let me know in the comments down below, guys. And as always, I will see you very soon.